It's on the worship leader to know how to talk to a drummer. So I would almost encourage worship leaders to take drum lessons, like one-on-one drum lessons. The kind of thing where you can ask the drum teacher questions about how to talk drummer. Like, hey, I'm not here to learn how to play fills. I want to know how to talk to my drummers. I think that would be really helpful. I don't know that it's on the drummer to interpret. That's how it ends up going down. But I feel like a good worship leader would learn how to speak everybody's language to a degree. You know, I've worked with producers. Most good producers know how to talk drummer really well. That doesn't mean they know how to sit. They can sit down and play anything. They're the bad drummers, but they know about it and they really know how to talk about it. And they'll be like, I heard you using 16th notes on the hi-hat just now. Why don't you not do that? or whatever, right? Worship leaders tend to have the same observational perspective as everyone else in the band, right? So the worship leader is kind of experiencing what the drummer's doing on the basis of how it makes them feel, which is good. Like, whatever you did during the bridge made me feel kind of, could you just not do that? That's good to know as a drummer. Okay, I won't. What was it that you were feeling? Like, what about that made you feel, I mean, can you describe your feeling? Was it too loud? Was it too intense? Was it not intense enough? Was it too disorienting? Right? So like sometimes as a drummer, to make up for the fact that my worship leader doesn't know how to talk drummer, I'll just kind of ask him some more questions. Yeah. Yep. And then I just, I try to politely like, okay, I bet you felt that way because I was not putting the snare drum on 2 and 4. And I was doing like a dotted quarter note kind of pattern. So I'll put the snare drum on 2 and 4 and we'll see how it feels. So in a way I can almost kind of, I feel like the worship leaders that I work with can talk drummer better, hopefully after I've worked with them a bunch. Because I'm not going to just kind of sit there and be like, okay, silently like judging them for not knowing how to, you know what I mean? Like I want to engage them and talk to them a little bit. I think there's 2 ways to play music. One is with your like analysis, like a lens, right? Like you're analyzing everything. Here's what count you're playing on. Here's what count I'm playing on. We're not playing on the same count. The E of 3, or whatever, right? And then there's this like antenna of feeling, which is how most people operate. And I'll think the same way that the taste buds work. Like, it tasted good, right? Everybody's got that antenna. You're like, that felt right. What I'm doing right now feels right. What you're doing right now doesn't feel right, okay? I think both of those things are helpful. The analysis, the analytical lens, and the feeling antenna, right? Just kind of sitting there. Both of those things are helpful. And in the end, the main thing is the feeling. Music is not a game of analysis. It's not just a math problem, right? Like I said before, the real value in music, the real identity of music is the emotional thing that it pulls out of you, right? Just that emotional button that it's constantly pushing, which is the antenna. That's the feeling antenna, okay? But I've met a lot of musicians, worship leaders or otherwise, who, because they feel it so strong, just want to live in the feel world. And when it's time to put on the analytical lenses, they're afraid, right? And I don't know why. Sometimes I perceive that they're afraid that the feeling's going to go away as soon as they put on their analyzing glasses. They're not going to have that feeling anymore or whatever. Or sometimes they're just lazy, don't want to dive into that world. I don't know that world. That's the way I was with this stuff, like Ableton Live. Drummers have to do programming these days. A lot of like electronic beats and string patches and stuff. A lot of that's on the drummer because the drummer's the one that can just have a computer set up next to him. So I perceived about 5 years ago that I was going to have to start getting into that. And I'm not a computer guy. Like that was like pulling teeth for me to go buy a computer, buy a software program, and start to get to know it. Like, I was like, I don't want to do this. I just want to play my instrument. But I just perceived the way things were going. Like good drummers need to know how to program in this day and age of pop music, right? So just went and did it. I felt that resistance to doing it. I don't think it was anything other than laziness, fear of what I didn't know. I perceive that every now and then in musicians. Like I said, worship leaders or otherwise. I don't want to count. Like we're all going to come in on bar 10. It means I have to count. I don't want to count. I just want to feel it. Can you do a fill that helps me feel it? Right? And I'm like, yes, I can. I don't think the moment calls for that. I don't think that's going to serve the song for me to do a fill. It's just going to serve your ineptitude at counting. So if you could just learn how to count, that'd be better. Right? I mean, you say that in a gracious way. Point being, I have met worship leaders who don't want to know how to talk drummer. And I think it's just they don't want to get out of the feel antenna way of things. I am passionately about the feel antenna. That's the end. I don't care about how many T's you've crossed and I's you've dotted and how clean your angles are in your analysis of things. There's a lot of jazz out there that is analytically incredible and feel-wise just as plastic and sterile as possible. You know, I think of that stuff the same way I think of Justin Bieber. Or maybe Justin Bieber actually has more feel. You know, Justin Bieber was on TV yesterday morning, my wife and I were watching, and he just sings one line of his chorus to one of his songs, and she's humming it for the rest of the day. And she's just like, oh, this is so annoying. And I was like, it's a good hook, honey. Look at you. They wrote a good hook. That's hard to do. You know, give credit where credit's due here. So anyway, all I'm saying is, man, the emotion and the feel of it, that's the game. That's what it's about. That's what the world of music is about. But the analysis can so serve that. So don't be afraid of it. You know, just learn, see how it serves.